What if I told you you could eat fresh, inexpensive vegetables from your winter garden if you plant these crops right now? Today I will share with you which crops are great winter growers and will keep you well fed throughout the cold. Starting with onions. So we're in zone 9. Every week when I go to Trader Joe's, my wife has on the list yellow onions. So I planted a bunch of yellow onions. Then these will be way better than the ones I get at Trader Joe's, but I'll have to wait a few months to harvest them. Onions do great when you plant them anytime in November. We actually planted these in very late October. You either plant them in late summer or fall. In other zones, you'll have varying times that are the best to plant onions. Check on the specifics in your own zone. We planted 3 varieties, quite a few Walla Walla onions, which are very sweet and very mild. And then we planted another yellow one called Elsie. Its claim to fame is that it's resistant to thrips. And then we planted a big white onion. Some people call it Sierra Blanca, and some people call it Superstar. I'd much rather call it Superstar. That makes you feel special. And that white onion is one of the most widely adaptable onions that grows in lots of different climates. What I start with to make every dish special is some kind of onion, olive oil, garlic, oregano, salt and pepper. What a great way to start almost any dish. So next is cilantro. You can't see it because we planted it from seed, but it'll be coming up soon. This weather today, a high of 80 degrees, perfect to germinate cilantro as long as you keep the seeds moist. Cilantro grows in zones 8 to 11. If you're a hotter zone than that, you can wait till later in the season. And if you're in a cooler zone, like 3 to 7, then you can plant it when you have warmer weather, like late summer. Whenever you can grow cilantro, that's a great thing to have in your garden from the standpoint of keeping your other plants healthy. It's fantastic to keep pests away. Aphid and whitefly don't like the smell of cilantro. Other thing about it is it's great at attracting pollinators. A lot of times you need pollinators for different crops, and it attracts beneficials. While it's there making your garden better, it can also be an important ingredient in guacamole and different types of salsa. Next, we have broccoli. If you're old enough like me, you remember that one of our ex-presidents hated broccoli. Broccoli grows in zones 2 to 11. Middle to late December, we think we'll be able to harvest. Then it lasts a long time as long as the weather stays cool. And broccoli, almost every variety likes slightly acidic soil. So in the 6 to 7 range, our products that I'll tell you about later are good at giving you that range. We planted 2 varieties of broccoli that have 2 different growth habits. This first variety is called Marathon, and that grows in the more standard single stalk with big floret of broccoli. It's got great cold tolerance. Let's go look at the other variety of broccoli, which is broccoli artwork. I think even a broccoli hater would have a difficult time not liking broccoli artwork because it grows like what you would call broccolini. As it sprouts and it puts on its first head of broccoli, if you cut that out and harvest it, then it responds with side shoots. Then you're harvesting a much smaller, more tender broccoli. For broccoli, I like it roasted with garlic and maybe lemon, and then what I really like to put over the top is a really good imported Romano cheese. It makes it so you can't taste the broccoli that much, and the cheese is delicious. Next for you, snowball cauliflower. One of the neat things about snowball cauliflower is it stays protected from the sun by the leaves. It can blanch the color. 6 inches wide and 3 to 5 pounds each. That's big. It's almost a quarter of chip. It grows well in zones 2 to 11, so very similar to broccoli. If you're in zone 2 or near zone 2, then you want to start it earlier so that you can harvest it in the fall. If you're in a warm zone like us, zone 9, then you plant it in fall. Even in November is good, and we'll harvest it through the winter. It's also got about a 2-month period before it's ready to harvest, so we'll be harvesting it in December and January and maybe even into February. I know we just covered this, but it really lends itself well to roasting also. It is well enhanced by parsley and dill. And then I love my Romano cheese over the top. Chip and I are standing in front of the seeded radishes. Great in zones 2 to 11. People all over the country can plant radishes. If you're close to zone 2, then you're going to do it in late summer and harvest in the fall. If you're in warmer zones like ours, then we're going to plant it about now, and we'll be eating radishes in early December. The neat thing about radishes, which I think make it useful for growing in a lot of different situations, is how fast you can grow a crop of radishes. I think we can have radishes in 30 days. I don't think you can find another crop that you can grow that fast. Now, what's the best way to eat radishes? I eat almost exclusively raw and in salads. You can pickle radishes, which I've done with onions. I forgot to mention that in our onion section. Those are my favorite ways for these radishes. Next is our romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce is a nutritional powerhouse. You could almost consider it a superfood. It is fantastic for you. High in vitamin A, C, K, and B6 with lots of minerals and lots of antioxidants. Grows in zones 3 to 11, maybe a little bit more sensitive to cold than some of the most tolerant winter crops. Optimal growing temperature between 45 and 75 degrees. That's perfect for when we're planting here, but target your planting dates to recognize that optimal growing temperatures, 45 to 75. The most popular and classic recipe for romaine lettuce is obviously Caesar salad. But also, what I like about it, you can use it in any salad. You can use it to substitute for any other kind of lettuce. And we have broccoli rabe, one of my favorite winter crops. Also easy to grow and grows in a wide range of climates. So the classic zones for broccoli rabe are 3 to 10. And if it gets too warm, it goes to seed. So you need to be careful about that in terms of when you plant it and where you plant it. I think of it as a cross between broccoli and mustard greens. So broccoli rabe is very versatile, and you could cook it a lot of different ways. I like it with pasta. But a really creative one is broccoli rabe and black bean quesadillas. These are Detroit dark beets. It's an heirloom beet that was introduced in 1892. That's about as heirloom as you can get. They've been around a long time because people like them. And you can eat the beet itself or the tops. Detroit dark beets grow great in zones 2 to 10. And in zones 2 to 6, you can grow them as a fall crop or a spring crop. And in our zone, best as a winter crop. I eat beets mostly in salad and all kinds of salads. They lend themselves very well. It's kind of hard to find a beet I don't like. So as you can see, Chip and I have plenty of winter vegetables here to keep us busy, but there's lots of others you could plant, like celery, kale, spinach, carrots, and probably some we're leaving out. And all of them kind of fall into the same categories as the ones we've described here in terms of the zones they grow in and how you plant them. And the secret to make them thrive, we will get to that right now. We did something special that we found works real well. After we took out the summer crops, we had the bare ground, and we sprinkled Maximize all over, which is really functions like a high-quality compost. Does a lot of the same things that earthworm castings do. And then we had a couple of light rains, and we raked that in just lightly. As we got ready to plant, we used blend, and so the blend gets mixed in right with the backfill, and that goes right up to the roots of these plants. You can see they're very, very small. We want them to get off to a strong start. And that's really the strategy we used with everything, and we found it's really effective. And then as things start to root, we'll go over it a few times with Penetrate Liquid Biotiller. So that's kind of our magic potion for tremendous winter crop of vegetables. If you're interested in more details on how to transform your soil for your garden and for your landscape, check out this video right here. It will help you learn how to improve your soil the lazy way.